Hey, it's Ross O'Loughlin here, and today I wanted to talk to you about something I haven't really talked about before. It's not something I've shared publicly, but it's a really simple framework that I use when I'm evaluating my own funnel, when I'm evaluating client funnels, to see what's working, what's not, right? To kind of evaluate and see, are there any holes here that would maybe cause people not to want to take action on whatever it is we're trying to get them to do, whether it's join a course, get on a call, join a coaching group, whatever it is. People are kind of going to come into your world after they opt in. Um, and then you're going to make some sort of impression on them with your marketing. And oftentimes this holds in the game, as they would say. And I want to just talk you through a very simple framework that we've developed. And I'm going to give credit to where credit's due, to one of the OGs of persuasive argumentation, Aristotle himself, right? Because, I'm always looking for the fundamentals, right? What are the fundamentals, the timeless fundamentals that are never going to change in marketing and persuasion? And how can you apply those to the current context rather than trying to find some fancy new, bang whiz, gimmicky funnel? What are the timeless principles that you can then internalize and install using whatever technology or frameworks you're currently using? And who better to be kind of referencing and taking inspiration from when it comes to persuasion than Aristotle, right? One of the guys that was back in the ancient Greek times, one of the greatest orators ever. And, back then, he really articulated what it takes to form a persuasive argument. And I want to kind of talk through that, number one, and then show you how you can apply it or where you might be having some holes in your conversion process. So let's unpack the model here. Let's unpack Aristotle's model for online internet marketing conversion. No, let's unpack the model for argumentation persuasively, right? To get someone aligned with your way of seeing things and persuading them to take the action that you want them to do it, right? So in Aristotle's world, right, in ancient Greece, he would say that there were three elements to a strong argument, right? The first of those is ethos, right? Which is the derivative word for ethics. And this basically talks about the credibility of the speaker, right? That's not spelled correctly. Credibility. Essentially, what we're looking at is how credible is the speaker? How much authority do they have, right? What's their character like, right? I can make the exact same argument as, I don't know, some well-known, how would you call them? Deceiver, liar, someone who hasn't got a good track record, someone a known murderer and thief. And if I'm making the same argument as that individual, how that argument is perceived is going to be very different based on the credibility and authority of our characters, essentially, right? And that's what ethos is all about, is that an argument from someone who has good ethics, strong credibility, or is perceived as an authority with good character is always going to be more impactful, right? Now, the next area of the model is pathos, right? Which has to do with emotion, essentially, right? What is the emotional appeal of the argument? Is it A, emotionally engaging, but B, hitting on the right emotions to move that person forward to make to side with your perception and your side of seeing things, right? When we talk about someone being empathetic, that is derived from the word pathos, and what an empath or being empathetic is about is all being able to basically understand the emotional state that someone else is in. So if you're going to be constructing some sort of argument or some sort of funnel, what is the emotional appeal that's driven or layered through that entire sequence, right? And then the last but not least is the logos, right? And that is all about logic, essentially, right? What is the logical appeal or the logical underpinning of the argument, and does it hold weight, right? Facts, proof, structure, all of that. That's really what logos is all about, right? Whereas Pathos here is all about the appeal, the emotional appeal of what you're talking about, right? Now, you might have heard these before, right? Like, you got to be credible, you got to have authority, you got to have the emotional appeal right, you got to have logic sorted, and that's really like the underpinning of whether your message, whether your funnel is going to convert correctly, or your marketing, we should say. And that's like the foundation of what we look at. But the other element that you don't hear anyone talking about, because it is, oops, let's redo that line there. There's another element to Aristotle's kind of framework that very few people I've ever heard talk about, but that is Kairos, right? And what Kairos is about is the opportune moment, right? You could give a speech in some sense, right? And if you have credibility and you have the right emotional appeal, and then you have a logical argument, right? Giving that speech in one location or at the one moment in time versus another could have huge impacts, right? Great example of this is like, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, right? Really impactful because it was very of its time and had a huge, massive impact. If that speech had been given 10 years later, 10 years earlier, probably not going to have the same impact. And you can say that about all of these great speeches, right? It really has to resonate with the right person at the right time, essentially. And Kairos is all about timing. And what I see in a lot of people's marketing and conversions is 100% what they do not have is they haven't got this lined up. They haven't got all of the bases covered, right? Either they're not making a good enough case for their authority, right? The appeal or the messaging, the emotional substance of their message and their marketing just isn't resonating, or other way around, it's because it's all logical, or vice versa, we don't have enough proof, or we're all logical with no appeal, right? But the biggest thing I see in nearly every funnel, and even if someone has done a great job and had all three of these, the biggest issue I often see is the one around timing, right? And that's why kind of the tool that we use here, you might have seen any Legend of Zelda fans here might have recognized the shape, the Triforce, essentially, right? And that's what we use to basically evaluate people's marketing, right? We call it the conversion Triforce. You can't really see it there behind my head. I just realized I was drawing it, behind my head. But essentially, when you're evaluating someone's marketing, you want to be looking at those items, right? Number one, are we doing a good enough job presenting you as an authority? Number two, have we got the emotional appeal right? Number three, do we have enough proof? Are we making enough of a logical argument for it to be correct? And number four, are we leveraging the timing of the market and making sure that we're selling to them when they're ready to buy, right? Because oftentimes, even if someone's doing an amazing job, there can be a couple of places that they've really dropped the ball, right? If you're just running an evergreen funnel, for example, I see in a lot of situations, once that evergreen funnel is finished, there is no after game plan, right? There's no game plan to convert people that didn't purchase over the next 3, 6, 12 months, right? If someone's doing a launch model, they have no way to be able to convert their existing leads or the new leads coming in because the business is closed most of the time, right? Or the business runs launches regularly, but we have no game plan for the in-betweeny bit, right? In between the launches. I see that a lot with certain clients, and they're just looking to patch the holes in their game. And oftentimes there's a great way to be able to make both work, which is if we have the ability to generate new leads and find the customers who are going to be ready to get started right now, and we can do those three things, right? Position using authority, come up with the right emotional and logical argument, it can do wonders, right? But at the same time, we also have to build the systems and have the frameworks in place for us to be converting those people over the long term, right? So that brings us to basically what I want to offer to you. So one of the things I do for certain private clients is essentially evaluate their opt-in process right after they join, right? I'm looking to see, cool, what are the assets we got? how are we communicating, what's the argument we're making, and how can we potentially improve? Because oftentimes I'm looking for the bottlenecks and the big wins that might come from small changes, from how people are just talking with folks right after they join their email list, or evaluating their email marketing essentially, to see what's working and what's not over the longer term, right? Maybe you do a launch. What's the game plan for that launch list after the launch is closed, after you've closed the cart, essentially, right? Oftentimes, that's really what we're doing. And we do it with a special process that we call the mystery shop, right? Where basically I or someone from my team goes through and basically evaluates the funnel, the opt-in process, the emails, the videos, the content, whatever we're sending, right? Wherever we're doing to basically establish that conversion triforce, we're looking at it and we're looking for where the holes. So if you'd like us to do this for your business, if you'd like me or someone from my team to basically look at your entire opt-in process and come back to you with where there are opportunities for maybe some big wins, I'd love to extend that invitation to you, right? For a free mystery shop, no obligation, right? You don't have to do anything. We'll just come back to you, tell you we found some stuff, and it's up to you if you want to make the changes or not. If you would like our help making those changes, happy to do it as well. But we're happy to use this model, this framework of the conversion triforce to basically identify what problems would be. So if you would like that, just text me, all right? Take out your phone and text the number on the screen here, and just text me the word mystery, and I will get back to you as soon as I see the text, and then I'll just confirm with you what the opt-in page you would like us to start the mystery shop process is, and then we'll go through all your pages. We'll go through the emails, we'll look at everything and see where there's some opportunities for improvement. All right, so if that's something you're interested in, check out the number on the screen here, shoot me a text. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and we'll talk to you soon.